His Divine Grace of Charanarendra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Prabhu Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakacharya Shlotra Shat Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Maharaj Ki Samaveta Gaur Bhakti Ki Hare Krishna. Yes. So reading from the Bhagavad Gita 2.1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Jnanatimirandhasya Anjanshakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Krishna Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Visheshunyavadi Paschati Vishtarani Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Sanjay Uvacha Tam Tatha Kripayavistam Ashru Purna Kuleksham Vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudana. So, translation and purport by His Divine Grace of His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion and very sorrowful, his eyes brimming with tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. Material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjun wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nations cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Shudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and this conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose, the Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the Supreme Authority, Lord Sri Krishna. This realization is made possible by working with the fruitive being situated in the fixed conception of the real self. Hare Krishna. So, tam tatha kripaya vishtam ashru purnakulikshanam. So this battle of Mahabharata is about to start. This is going to be, the great fratricidal war. 100 brothers of Duryodhan and 5 brothers of Pandavas. These are all going to be, they are assembled here to decide who's going to rule the earth. So, previously, this world was, this planet is actually called Bharatavarsha. When we say Bharatavarsha, we don't mean India. People just call India Bharat. But actually, Bharatavarsha meant the whole world. And these brothers had assembled here to decide who's going to rule it. So, in the beginning, after assembling on the battlefield, Arjuna, of course, the Lord has taken position of a charioteer here. That is the position of the Lord. So in the very beginning, it is mentioned that this chariot was drawn by Arjun, and Arjun asked, Ratham Sthapyam me Achyuta, that please take my, Tenayor Bhayor Madhye, Ratham Sthapyam me Achyuta, that in the middle of the armies, please take my Ratha, please take my chariot. I want to see who has come here to fight. This is a very interesting point, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he is going to announce. Can you please close the door? There is too much running around. Thank you. So, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or any scripture that we are reading, every word has meaning, and everything is very important. Every little fact which is mentioned has some lesson for us. Here we see that Lord Krishna has taken the position of a chariot. Now, if you see yogis or jnanis, big scholars, they are studying volumes and volumes of books to try to understand the absolute truth, Param Satya. This absolute truth comes comes and says, okay, I'm willing to be your driver, what would be that position? Of course, no one does that in this world. Everyone has too much false ego. But this is the position that the Supreme Absolute Truth takes. Charioteer of Arjun. Arjun was the great yogis, jnanis, they try to understand the Absolute Truth. They try to merge into him. Sayujya Mukti. There are 5 types of liberations. Sayujya Mukti. That's considered very important for, like, if you go to India, if you ask any of the Vedic scholars, what's the goal of life? I mean, some sober scholar at least will tell you, oh, the goal of life is to merge with the Absolute Truth. Atma should merge into Paramatma. But that's not very significant. Here we can see that the Supreme Absolute Truth has taken the position of a servant of his devotee. So that is actually a higher destination. It's a higher goal which has been achieved by Arjuna. That is the message of Bhagavad Gita. That is what Bhagavad Gita is trying to tell us, that you can have a relationship with the Absolute Truth. That is the goal of life. But everyone is caught up in this misconception of being the body, not understanding the Absolute Truth. So in the beginning, Arjuna says, please take my chariot in the middle of the armies. I want to see who is fighting. And as soon as that chariot is drawn, Arjuna becomes full of lamentation. Arjuna sees, like it's mentioned in the first chapter of Gita, Arjun's there he saw in the midst of the armies his grandfather, his teacher, his uncles, his brothers, his friends. And seeing all of this, Arjuna became overwhelmed with compassion. It was one thing to know that this war will take place, but to see that one has to fight with one's own family, that was too much. Now imagine someone comes to you and says, oh my dear sir, your father is dying. How will you feel? How will you feel? Your mother is dying, father is dying. How will you feel about that? Now imagine someone comes and says, actually your father is dying and you have to kill him. He is not dying, but you can kill him if you want. What will you think of that then? That is the position here. Dronacharya, Bhishma, they are not going to die. They are normal, healthy men, but Arjuna has to kill them because Krishna is sitting on the chariot. Obviously, Arjuna is not going to be defeated. Defeat in Kshatriya terms means death. So Kshatriyas, these are going to be killed by Arjuna himself. Seeing this, Arjuna became overwhelmed with compassion. So this is the position that Arjuna was in, and therefore he started crying. Now one may think, oh, it's all right. Why is he crying? He's a soldier, he should fight. No, but it's not ordinary fight. Arjuna is not fearing for his life. He's not fearing for his loss of kingdom, but he's fearing that he has to kill. He knows his victory is assured. Krishna is here, but this victory means the blood of his own family. Therefore, Arjuna is overwhelmed with compassion. But the very first lesson of Bhagavad Gita is Krishna will start by condemning this compassion. Ashvachan anvashotastvam pragya vadamscha bhashasi. You're talking like a very scholarly man when you don't even know what knowledge is. Sometimes people talk, I know so much, but actually one doesn't understand anything. So Arjuna is giving, in the first chapter, Arjuna is giving many, many arguments. How can I kill my elders? They are respectable. Actually, these are not just my elders. They are the elders of the society. If I kill them, all this religion in society will stop. And if the religion is stopped in the society, the whole society will become polluted. And the whole society will become polluted, and all the elders who are in the heavenly planets, they will suffer. And everyone will go to hell. And I will be the cause of it. We will be the cause of it. I mean, because you are also there, Krishna, you are with me. So why should we be engaging in such ghastly warfare? This is Arjuna's argument. Arjuna is not just crying. He is presenting his arguments on the basis of scriptures, on the basis of dharma, duty. But Krishna is simply condemning it all. You're talking like a knowledgeable man, you don't even understand what knowledge is. Pragya vadamscha bhashasi. You're talking like a knowledgeable man, but you are lamenting for something which is not lamentable. So, what is this thing which is not lamentable? The living entity is not this body. No one is this body. This body na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavitavana bhuya ajo nityah shashvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. This body is just a vessel. The soul is just living in here. But while the soul is while the soul is living in this body, it is performing so many activities. There are so many things going on. We have Graha Kshetra, Sutapta, we have home, we have a family, we have a society. I have my education, doctor, engineer, mechanic, something, father, mother, so many things. But all of this has a beginning and an end. Adi antavata kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Those who are intelligent do not delight in it. It's going to end. No one is happy. Yesterday my father died, no problem. It's all right, he was too old. No one says, my mother is old, she's going to die, it's okay, no problem. No one thinks like that. Everyone laments death. So Krishna is saying, Adyantvata Kwanteya, Nateshu Ramate Buddha. Don't become engaged in these activities. And then you will not become unhappy. So what is this bodily consciousness? And why is it condemnable? So Bhagavatam says, Yasyatma buddhi kunapeti dhatuke. So who's a foolish man actually? Yasyatma buddhi kunapeti dhatuke. One who considers this body made of three of gross elements to be himself. Yasyatma buddhi kunapeti dhatuke. Swadhi kalatradishu bhaumajyadhi. Swadhi, that I am this body. Swadhi kalatradishu. Wife, son, children, society, etc. To be his self. One who considers this body and the attached paraphernalia to be himself. Swadhi kalatradishu. Bhauma ijjati, and who thinks that this land is worshipable. Oh, my land, my India, Bharat Mata ki jai, my China, my America, God save the country. One who thinks like this, Bhauma ijjati. One who thinks that his family is himself, body is himself, the land of birth is worshipable. Yat tirtha buddhi salile na karhichit. One who goes to some far off place to perform some austerity. Okay, I'll go to Ganges to take bath. Like Prabhupada used to give this very beautiful example. Our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, used to give a beautiful example. He said, Bengalis, they go to Haridwar to take bath in the Ganges. Ganges flows right through Calcutta. You just step out of your house, walk 100 meters, and there is Ganga there. But they'll take a train and they'll go all the way to Haridwar and then spend a lot of money and time and take bath there. Yatti buddhi salile na karhichit. It's a place to take bath. I'll go to Ganga. Now I'm pure. Ganga is flowing every day. In Calcutta, the water you drink is Ganga. So this is foolishness. Janeshvabhigyeshu sa eva gokhara. He doesn't go to a holy place to meet the sadhus there. Why Haridwar? Why Rishikesh? Why Vrindavan? Why Mayapur? Because these are holy places and they are holy. Yes, Lord appeared there, performed his activities, that makes it holy. But more importantly, there are sadhus living there. They know the purpose of life. They are living there. So for example, if your car breaks down, you take it to a motor mechanic. You don't take it to a cake shop. You take it to a mechanic to fix, because he knows how the car works. So to understand how a car works, you need to go to an engineer. To understand how the human being works, you need to go to a sadhu, tattvadarshi. So one should go to holy places, not just go there to take bath and come back. Actually, why do people even go to holy places? Just so that they can get some blessings and enjoy more. You don't go to university to just play some sports there. You go to university to take education. You may play some sports. University may have some club, it may have some sports ground, it may have some association. You go for all of that. You do all of that. But the main objective of the university is to take the education which is being given there. So you meet a sadhu. Sadhu's blessings will bring auspiciousness in your life. The sadhu, yes, your material life will become happier. But that's not the reason of meeting a sadhu. That's not the purpose of going to a holy place. The purpose of a holy place is to understand who am I. When Srila Sanatana Goswami went to Prayag, he met Lord Chaitanya there. And he asked some questions. Who am I? Why who am I? Why the three miseries of this world, make me suffer so much? Why am I suffering so much in this world? Now Sanatana Goswami was a scholar. He was an expert in Bengali, Sanskrit, and Persian, besides having the knowledge of economics and politics. So in today's terms, he was like a quadruple PhD or something. But still, he's asking this question to Mahaprabhu because he's sitting on the banks of Ganges. He has renounced his family. He has renounced his wealth. He was a minister of Bengal, but he has left all of that, and now he's asking this question: who am I? Why this material world makes me suffer so much? This is the inquiry of an intelligent man. No need to study hundreds of scriptures or meet thousands of people. No. Try to understand these things. Bhagavad Gita is meant to give us that knowledge. So this Bhagavatam verse, it explains that a man who simply lives to enjoy this life, who thinks this body is myself, this nation is worshipable, some holy places just to get some blessings, is no better than a cow or an ass or a donkey. Those are animals, beasts of burden, innocent animals. But also they have no knowledge. The donkey simply works hard. He doesn't realize that grass is available everywhere. He just thinks that my master gives me fresh grass. He doesn't realize that grass grows everywhere. He can simply go to the forest and eat. No, he wants his master. He wants that beating. He wants that work. Then he feels satisfied. That's the donkey. Cow is also an innocent animal, but with no knowledge of the real self. So a human being is not meant to live like this. And this is what Krishna is telling. You're talking like a knowledgeable man, but you really have no knowledge. So the purpose of scriptures, holy places, sadhus, you have to go and ask questions. Who am I? Why am I suffering? That is the beginning of knowledge. So, in this way, Arjun was... So, holy places are very important actually. They can influence very positively. Actually, Arjun was a very intelligent man. He even had the knowledge of soul. But here, he is overcome by compassion. This compassion he is feeling because they are in Kurukshetra. They are in the holy place. So holy place has influenced him positively. The very beginning of Bhagavad Gita is Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsava. Makaha Pandavascheva Kimakurut Sanjay Dhritarashtra is asking. So it's a holy place, Dharma Kshetra. So when one goes to a holy place, the vibrations influence automatically. So some of you who are from, say, India or Nepal, you have all these holy rivers flowing there. You have Ganges, Yamuna, you have Gandaki river in Nepal. All these are holy places. The whole land is holy because this water pervades the entire land. The influence of this holy place should not be misused to just cultivate material knowledge or cultivate some family life or something. That is automatic. That is prarabdha. It will come to you. Whatever you have done, like Srila Prabhupada used to say that in the old days, of course, now no one goes to even church anymore. But in those days, people would go to church. Oh Lord, give this day our daily bread. But this is not a prayer to the Supreme Lord. Those who are not praying are also getting their daily bread. You go to a church to ask the Lord for something much higher, for which the Lord has really appeared in this world. The true knowledge of the self. So, you go to a holy place, you see the influence of the holy place, that even in the middle of a war, Arjun is becoming influenced by compassion. So when one goes to a holy place, one should inquire, one should meet the sadhus and inquire about the spiritual life. Then the purpose of life is actually fulfilled. And that's the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita starts with the knowledge of the soul and continues onwards to explain how this knowledge can be actually realized in day-to-day life. Everyone, you, me, all of us. We are not living in ancient times. We're not living in an age of chariots and bows and arrows. But still, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is relevant because the principles of Bhagavad Gita are applicable even in this life. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you sacrifice, whatever you offer, do that as an offering unto me. That can be done. Arjun was eating food, we are also eating food. Arjun was performing his business. He was a Kshatriya, soldier. We are doctors, engineers, mechanics, whatever, philosophers. We have some position. We are doing our work. Just the external nature of work has changed, but the principle remains the same. So Krishna is telling Arjun that whatever you do, do that as a sacrifice unto me. Just do that as an offering to me. You can do that. It's very easy. Krishna is just saying, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. Just some leaf, some flower, some water, some fruit. Anyone can offer that. You don't need to be an Indian or a Brahmana or a Kshatriya to do that. Anyone can do that. Some flower. Like Prabhupada says that even a poor man can afford to offer some water at least. And that is all that Krishna is actually asking. So doing little bit as a sacrifice to Krishna, just a little bit. You don't even need to have full faith in him. But doing this as a loving service to Krishna, that is enough to start your spiritual life. That is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is explaining, Man manabhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Always think of me. Become my devotee. Worship me, offer your obeisances unto me. In this way, you will come to me because you are very dear to me. Man manabhav mat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mamev eshyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Because you are very dear to me. You don't even have to be a great soldier, great Brahmana or anything. No, you're already dear to Krishna. Just have to think of him. You just have to worship him. And he has already explained. Just make some little offering. Some fruit, some flower you can offer. How do you think of Krishna? You don't need some elaborate meditation school to think of Krishna. No. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just think, just chant. And there are no rules. Nam Akari, Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis, Tatrarpita Niyamitaha Smaranena Kala. No time, no rules. You're driving a car, you're sitting anywhere. You can think, you can chant this mantra. You don't have to pay any fees. You don't need any university degree. You don't need a PhD in theology to understand Bhagavad Gita. No, this is the essence. Just make some loving offering to Krishna and chant his holy name. And that's enough. That is enough to start your spiritual life. And as you progress, Krishna will reveal everything from within the heart. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupyanti. Those who are constantly engaged in serving me with love and devotion, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. So you don't need to go to the university degree. Like many years ago, I had a friend, he was a doctorate in theology. And he had told me that, students join the university to know about God and they graduate by becoming an atheist. So no, you don't need elaborate degrees to understand. This is very simple. Just some loving offering to Krishna. Then Krishna will give you all the knowledge which is within you. He will uncover all the knowledge. He'll give you the intelligence by which you can come to him. And you don't need to just come here to understand. There are so many churches, mosques everywhere. According to the faith, the Lord gives so many messages. But the only price is that you have to have faith, some love. In this world, you are loving so many people. See, mothers love their children, children love their parents, everyone loves their nation's world. We love our dog, we love our cat, so many things. Why can't we love God? In fact, if you have a cat, you spend at least like €300 a month to just keep the cat. God is not even asking you for that much. To love God doesn't even cost you anything. You're going to eat some food, isn't it? You don't have to cook something extra for him. You're going to drink some water. Forget about food also. You're drinking water, that's free. That water you can offer to Krishna. So that's the price. Just your love and devotion. Just do that. Try it. Krishna is not even binding it upon anyone. I'll condemn you to hell. No, just try that. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you give it a try. And that is the process of devotional service. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yes. Any questions or comments? Oh, yes, please.
It's maybe more of a comment than a suggestion, if I may.
Yeah.
It's to, I went for a dinner with my father yesterday, and it was a quick reminder of how different places we now are within our families because we consume different kind of media. And how social media gives us an algorithm and keeps feeding and this kind of thing. And in the Arjuna time, the battle was more honorable. It was men fighting in the field, whereas then it started mixing, and now the actual battleground is our screens. And there's many ideologies and many agendas that are trying to all the time influence us. And if we can have some Krishna consciousness, what we're consuming and how we interact with the social media, to do offerings on social media is one way on how to do service. And I've tried to do that for a while. It's actually improved the experience somewhat.
Yeah, that's a nice point. So, of course, I'll present two perspectives here. You can think of it. It's always see, social media today is like a home ground of mode of ignorance and passion. There was one statistic like long time ago when I was in the media industry. There was a statistic that nearly 70% of social or of all media, social and unsocial media, nearly 70% of all the media content is related to sex life. 70% of server spaces is consumed by pornography in today's. Today it must have, that was some 10 years ago, so it might have gone even further now. Now there may be more racism and violence also. So maybe.
It's 70% now is bots.
Bots, yeah, of course. But they are propagating the same thing. Now, like so much of nonsense is going on. In such an environment, it's very difficult to propagate pure knowledge. Okay, that's one perspective. And yet it has to be done. This material body is a mode of ignorance. But still we have to use this only to understand the Supreme, to realize the Supreme. So if you do want to use the social media, or any media for that matter, which is the home ground of ignorance and passion, you have to follow the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. So when Mahaprabhu started his preaching 500 years ago, actually at that time India was a pious place, but it was only pious. Whole of India was overrun with impersonalism and materialism. People would worship the demigods just to enjoy life more and more. And those who were a bit more detached or renounced, they were also Mayavadis. They were impersonalists, becoming one with the Lord. There was really no devotion at that time. In fact, even modern history records it, Bhakti movement. There were many saints who started preaching around the same time. So how was this done in such a polluted atmosphere? India was ruled by Muslims at that time. So how was this preaching done really? So Srila Prabhupada explains it that Mahaprabhu followed a three-pronged approach for preaching. For the general masses, Mahaprabhu simply chanted the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's it. You don't need any philosophical understanding to chant. So that was first step. To the general masses, he was only giving the holy name. Those who were more serious, those who were his students, with them, Mahaprabhu was discussing the Srimad Bhagavatam. They were discussing the technicalities of Vedic processes. And those who were completely surrendered, those who were accomplished students, Mahaprabhu was discussing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So yes, the general masses were all polluted, they were materialistic, they were impersonalistic, but Mahaprabhu was giving them mercy by just giving the holy name. So if we want to preach on the social media, we can just give the very basic message of Gita and the holy name. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukha doshanu darshanam. Birth, old age, disease and death. These are the four miseries of life. You don't need to be a philosopher. You don't need to be a Hindu. You don't need to be a great scholar to understand this. It's common sense. So little philosophy which anyone can understand. A little bit of holy name that anyone can chant. In fact, last month, no, not last month, maybe 2 months ago, I met some Jehovah's Witnesses, and they gave me some. It was no, not Jehovah's Witnesses. They were these preachers of the Church of the Latter Day Saints. This what's that church? I remember now. Mormons. I met them in one, in the street, and they gave me a little booklet. Very nice, little philosophy. Just 5-6 sentences of philosophy. But that was a good idea. I thought it's brilliant. I don't need to be a Christian to understand that. But those are little pearls of wisdom from the Bible. So little bit of knowledge and the holy name, because the holy name will purify them. Then they will be able to understand this. Otherwise, everyone is drowning in ignorance. It will be drowning. Your message will probably come followed by 30 messages talking about how we should drive the foreigners out of this country, how we should kill all people, and maybe some naked girls here and there. So, in between that, you have to punch your message. It must be very short, it must be very powerful. Who am I? Why am I suffering? When I was a student of marketing many, many years ago, there was a very nice phrase, this professor of marketing, this book, a very famous book. So he had written that, everyone thinks that he's very smart. So if you think you are smart, only ask yourself one question, to make you humble. Just ask one question. How come, if I'm smart, I'm not rich? Ask this yourself. If you are so smart, how come you are not rich? So same question we can ask other people also, how come you're so smart, but you're still suffering? You don't even need to be a philosopher to ask this. It'll hit anyone, I'm suffering. Yes, I am suffering. In Finland, 50% of people actually go to therapists for different types of mental diseases. Why? This is supposed to be the happiest country in the world by all physical means. I showed this survey to my friend in India, and he said, no, this is right. They are actually happy. I said, no, they are not happy. People are suffering. He says, no. See, in India, buses are not working. You can get robbed on the streets. You don't get jobs. And, you can have a motor accident anytime you walk on the road. And, government is corrupt. There are so many things going on. So Finns must be happy. So you see, every time you achieve a standard, your standard of happiness rises still further. And if you think as a sober man, you'll realize that there is something which is still missing. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi. Even if you are a Finn with the best government in the world, you'll grow old and die. That's unfortunate. And that's actually even worse. If you die, say, in a country like Djibouti or Malay or Bangladesh, it's okay, life is so miserable, death is actually like a mercy. Because people are running around with machine guns, throwing stones, burning cars. But if you die here, it's even worse because it's so nice. You have to leave it. Thank you, Haribol. Time up. Now you have to leave. It's nice. Once Prabhupada was in Philadelphia, and they were taking a morning walk through some very rich area. Oh no, this was near Hollywood actually. It's a very beautiful place. Like beautiful houses, gardens and everything. And one devotee spoke to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, isn't this nice? Prabhupada said, yes, this is very beautiful. Too perfect to be renounced. You think some Hollywood producer is happy when he's dying? Miramax Studios, so much money. In fact, Miramax Studios, the founder is now in jail. Everything is taken away. Now he's in jail for life. Me too. And now forever gone. He can watch. Movies are being made, money is coming, but he will live in prison, eating some porridge and bread for the rest of his life. This is material world. So instead of trying to give them philosophical knowledge, we can actually make them aware of their present condition. I think that would be the best preaching. People are suffering.
The comment was maybe also towards the battleground for our minds is in the screens. It's not only us preaching, but through how to interpret everything that is coming towards us.
Yes, that family life is also like that. Family life is a daily battle. Everywhere there is a battle. Yes, you know it. Yes, society, work, education. Do you think everywhere there is struggle? Manashasthani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. Krishna is making a general statement. As soon as you are in the material nature, struggle begins. Struggle, struggle, struggle. And we think that this struggle is happiness. For those who are coming from India or South Asia, how difficult it is to get a visa to come here. Your parents must have come here to visit you. 19 or 20 documents you have to give for visa. Then after 11 days, your heart is beating. Oh my God, oh my God. Like it happened with my friend. 20 days and then it says visa rejected. So 5,000 rupees gone. You see, material world means struggle. Struggle at every step. For everything there is a struggle. So not a happy place. One should think very soberly. You think, having a child, now you can see the child, so beautiful. Mother is playing with the child. But every time a mother gives birth to a child, there is such a chance that she can actually die. Imagine if someone tells me, Prabhu, let's go and buy a Mercedes. But there is a chance that salesman might shoot us dead. Will we do that? No, I'll probably just take a bicycle and go. No, but still, the material world means struggle. Every step is full of danger. Padam padam yat vipadam. Struggle and danger at every step in this world. Yes. Any other question or comment? We still have 5 minutes. Yes.
Just a beautiful lecture. And one point you made is that people go to learn theology, and the more they go to theology, they actually, instead of going closer to God, we go away from God. Based on this, I also noticed that the people who are more qualified, they tend to drive away from God. But that's not very surprising, especially the people we find here who are coming to Finland also, they are coming from this IT sector. They are also very highly qualified, but it's very difficult for them to go to closer to God. But what's surprising more is that why is this, number one, and number two, why people who are going to learn theology are more so? Why is that person commented like that?
Oh, it's very simple. Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. All this knowledge is on the platform of body and mind. Three guna. This body is tamoguna, gross elements. This senses, eyes, ears, brain, they are rajoguna, mode of passion. So when we are studying, whatever we study, engineering or philosophy or economics, it's just this study. What is economics? Study of human emotions and finance. That's economics. All of this is on the level of body and mind only. And there you cannot understand anything transcendental. Therefore, the deeper one goes into subjects like engineering, mathematics, technology, especially, the more one will become atheistic. Because that's gross. It's driving deeper into ignorance. Knowledge means knowledge of the soul. So what Krishna calls, see, in the 13th chapter, verse 8 to 12, Krishna is actually describing knowledge. The 20 elements of knowledge Krishna describes there. He says knowledge of the soul, that is real knowledge. Body and its elements are all ignorance. So the more we try to understand science and technology, the more atheistic we'll actually become. One simple example. In 1971, Prabhupada got a letter actually. His disciples gave him this letter. One surgeon, heart surgeon in Mayo Clinic, had written a letter. He said that I am a heart surgeon who has performed many surgeries and I have seen patients die. At the moment a patient dies, I know. The arteries are running, the body is warm, blood is circulating, but I know this man is dead. Something changes, but I cannot perceive. So if there is someone who can understand this, I would like to discuss. So when you study surgery, what to speak of engineers, I have seen doctors who become very atheistic because they see the body all the time. They don't understand what runs this body. Oh, now the kidney is not working. Okay, renal failure. Okay, heart has failed. Ischemic heart failure, finished, dead. But they don't understand what is life, what is sustaining this heart. So the more we study these sciences, the more atheistic we will become. We are going, so understanding from perspective of Bhagavad Gita, we are just going deeper into ignorance. Avidya. As Narottam Das Thakur says, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Keval Vishera Bhand. It's like poison. Poison puts one to sleep eventually. So this knowledge eventually may put one to sleep. Human brain also has the capacity to analyze. When we try analyzing, say for example, mathematics. Yesterday I was watching one video on mathematics. the conjectures, the theory of conjectures, theory of theories, that there are so many theorems in mathematics which will eventually drive one mad. So many things which exist. Like the simplest is how many pairs of primes exist in this world. Now the basic theory explains that when the numbers are small, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you will have many pairs of primes. But as the numbers go on increasing in magnitude, the distance between the primes increases. But there is a probability that still there would exist primes in these higher orders of numbers. So if you go in, but what is this actually? Just the understanding of phenomenal world. The deeper one goes into all of these philosophies, the more one will be trapped by this ajnana, and more atheistic one will become, because this is away from Brahman.
So, I just last question.
Okay, we can ask later outside this.
Studying means ignorance, and ignorance is ignorance. So what for do we study if it's still ignorance?
You need ignorant knowledge to sustain the body of ignorance. You need knowledge of the soul to understand who you are. You need to cook bread to eat, and you need to read a book to nourish the mind. So this body needs, we need some physical knowledge also to run in this material world. But besides this, we have to understand who we really are. In car, you put petrol, but you drink tea. So just like that, for the body, you need this knowledge just to sustain. You need to learn how to light fire, how to bake bread. That's not philosophical. That's just physical knowledge. But to understand the soul, you need the knowledge of the soul, the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Different grades of knowledge for different grades of knowledge for different grades of gunas. We can discuss it outside also. Okay, now it's time for Kirtan. So thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada ki